Having been beached, Roger Kimball, like so many of his comrades, was making the painful discovery that very little he'd learned at the Confederate Naval Academy in Mobile suited him to making a living in the civilian world. He was a first-rate submarine skipper, but there were no civilian submarines. The CS Navy was no longer allowed to keep submersibles either, otherwise he would have stayed in command of the Bonefish. He had a fine understanding of the workings of large diesel engines. That also did him very little good. Outside the Navy there were next to no large diesel engines, nor small ones either. He understood gasoline and steam engines too, but so did plenty of other people. None of them seemed willing to sacrifice his own position for Kimball's sake. "Miserable bastards, every last one of them," he muttered as he trudged through the streets of Charleston, South Carolina. Then he laughed at himself. Had he had a steady job, he wouldn't have let go of it either. Maybe he should have headed down to South America, as he'd told Ann Colleton he might. A lot of former Navy men were trudging the streets of Charleston these days, most of them overqualified for the jobs that turned up, when any jobs turned up, which wasn't often. Kimball kept money in his pocket partly because he wasn't too proud for any kind of work that came along, having grown up on a hardscrabble farm in Arkansas. He was no pampered Confederate aristocrat, and partly because he was a damn fine poker player.